Hello, and welcome. Tonight, we'll drift together through gentle, soothing stories. Let's take a deep breath, settle in, and allow your mind to unwind. Imagine a soft evening light surrounding you, and let your body sink into relaxation as we travel through these tales of everyday magic, quiet kindness, and gentle reflections. Tonight, there's nothing you need to do but listen, relax, and let these moments carry you toward calm and rest. There's a story about someone who lives alone, and how every morning they wake to the soft golden light spilling across their kitchen. They make a cup of coffee, feeling the warmth seep into their hands. Outside the window, birds hop along the fence, chirping softly, pausing occasionally as if they too are enjoying the morning calm. Some mornings, a little squirrel appears, twitching its tail and peering curiously at the balcony. They leave a few crumbs for it and watch it scurry away, a tiny moment of connection with the world outside. Their cat stretches lazily in a sunbeam, rolling over and purring, a gentle reminder of comfort and companionship. The routine is simple: coffee, cereal, a moment of reading, but it has become almost sacred. The sound of the kettle boiling, the soft hum of the refrigerator, the rhythm of their own breathing, all merge into a quiet symphony of ordinary life. Some mornings, they open the window and feel the crisp air brush against their cheeks. Even on difficult days, these few minutes bring grounding, a reminder that life's simplest pleasures hold quiet beauty. They sometimes linger with their cup in hand, watching sunlight shift across the walls, noticing the dust particles floating lazily in the beams. Time stretches, elongated and soft, almost as if pausing to let them savor this serene moment. These ordinary routines, often overlooked, carry their own magic, a tiny oasis of calm at the start of each day. Another Redditor shared a memory of a long, slow walk in the rain. Not hurried, not with an umbrella, just letting the droplets settle softly on their coat. The streets were empty, wet and glistening, with reflections of streetlights shimmering in puddles. The air smelled of damp earth and fallen leaves, and the rhythm of raindrops hitting the pavement became hypnotic, a gentle melody that mirrored their breathing. They walked past small cafes, warm light spilling onto the wet sidewalks, and noticed leaves quivering under the weight of water. At one point, they saw a stray dog sitting under a shop awning, shivering slightly. Without thinking, they offered it a piece of their sandwich. The dog wagged its tail slowly, as if thanking them. That brief moment, in the quiet of the rain, felt profoundly peaceful. As they continued, ordinary details became extraordinary in the slowed-down world. The smell of wet brick, the gentle sway of trees, the soft clinking of shop signs in the rain, all of it wrapped them in a cocoon of quiet wonder. By the time they returned home, damp and chilled, they carried a sense of serenity, as though the rain had washed away the noise of the world. That night, they fell asleep with the memory of raindrops tapping softly against their window, a lullaby of stillness and comfort. One user wrote about waking before sunrise to visit a remote lake. The water was perfectly still, a mirror reflecting the first gentle light of morning. Mist hovered just above the surface, curling and twisting slowly, creating shapes that seemed almost alive. The quiet was profound. Even their own footsteps sounded loud against the soft ground. As they reached the edge of the lake, they noticed a pair of ducks gliding gracefully across the water, leaving tiny ripples behind them. The air smelled fresh and slightly sweet with dew. They sat on a smooth rock by the shore and simply listened, the gentle lapping of water, distant birds beginning their day, the faint rustle of leaves. Time felt suspended, each second stretching into something almost infinite. The sun rose fully, painting the mist in delicate shades of gold and pink. They watched slowly, appreciating the gradual unfolding of light and warmth. There was no rush, No one to impress, only the pure joy of being present in this quiet, natural world. Even years later, recalling that morning brings a calm that is almost tangible, like a soft blanket wrapping around the heart, and they hope that anyone who reads the story can feel a fraction of that peace. Another Redditor shared a hike they took alone during autumn. The trail was blanketed in red, orange, and gold leaves, each step producing a soft, satisfying crunch. The air was crisp and invigorating, yet calm enough to make each breath feel like a meditation. They paused frequently, just to notice how sunlight filtered through the trees, creating patterns on the forest floor that shifted slowly with the breeze. Occasionally, a squirrel or rabbit darted through the foliage, startling and then disappearing, leaving only the quiet sound of leaves settling. At the peak of the hike, they reached a clearing with a small overlook. The valley stretched below, shrouded in morning fog that seemed to move like slow waves. They sat on a fallen log and drank water from their bottle, letting the cold sip refresh them while their eyes traced the rolling hills. They wrote about the way solitude in nature felt comforting, never lonely. Moments like watching a leaf fall, listening to a distant bird call, or feeling the wind on their face brought a depth of calm and contentment that nothing else could. The world felt vast, gentle, and perfectly in place. One Redditor shared a habit that had transformed their nights. They keep a small notebook by their bed and write 3 things they're grateful for each evening. Sometimes it's the warmth of a blanket, the smile of a stranger, or the aroma of fresh coffee in the morning. Over time, this practice became a gentle ritual, a way to slow down and reflect on the day's quiet moments. They wrote about flipping through old entries, noticing patterns of small joys that might otherwise have gone unnoticed. Each note is like a tiny treasure, a gentle reminder that even ordinary days contain beauty. Some nights, they add small doodles alongside the words, a leaf, a tiny heart, a sunbeam, little embellishments that make the act of reflection even more soothing. They said that this simple practice brings a steady sense of calm before sleep, a way of ending the day gently, with gratitude and awareness. Finally, someone wrote about a night spent watching the stars from a quiet hill. They brought a blanket, lay down, and let their eyes wander across the infinite sky. The air was cool but comforting, and the silence was profound. They noticed constellations faintly traced above, occasional shooting stars darting across the darkness. They wrote about the small feeling of insignificance it brought, but also the quiet joy of realizing that in that vastness, everything seemed to settle into place. Each breath became slower, deeper, and more rhythmic. Time seemed to stretch, and they felt a soft connection to the world around them, the trees, the wind, the distant sounds of night creatures. It was a night without distraction, without expectation, a night where simply being present felt like the most meaningful thing in the world. As they drifted toward sleep, the memory of starlight remained, a gentle companion for the mind and heart.